Hi everyone, welcome to Zenith Workouts. I'm Rebecca Libby. Today we're going to do a mat class that is going to be about a level 1, 2, gentle 2, difficult level 1. And I'm going to incorporate the mini stability ball, which you don't absolutely need at all. I'll cue you how to modify without it so you can still enjoy the video, but if you have it, it does give you some really good feedback about where your pelvis or your rib cage is in space, and it just helps sometimes to activate different muscle groups that we might have difficulty accessing without the ball. So if you don't have the mini stability ball, but you have a softball at home, you can substitute that in as long as it's a good quality that isn't going to burst on you. We're going to start sitting today, which I realized for level 1 classes is we're not always happy to sit, right? Especially if it's first thing in the morning, to sit and get ourselves over our sit bones. If we're tight in the hips in the morning, or we have old back injury and we really don't, this might just be tight. So ways to modify this would be if you have, you could put a cushion under the pelvis and get the pelvis up a little bit, which is fine. Or even, putting the legs more into a diamond shape to let yourself, if it's the hips that are restricting you, to let yourself come forward and get yourself, balanced over that sit bone foundation instead of feeling like you're pulled back onto your tailbone or what have you. So you can play around with how you want to start today. I'm actually going to start in a bit of a diamond shape. If you are using your ball, you don't need it right away. And we're just going to start with some breathing, some head, neck movement, some shoulder blade movement. So if you really hate sitting at the moment, you can be standing and do this as well. So a nice breath in and just get yourself organized over that pelvis foundation, nice tall vertical spine, collarbones wide, shoulder blades broad, nice long neck, and a beautiful breath pattern. And that just means really breathing so that you fill and you get some expansion at your low rib cage. Even think of breathing into your low back. And on your out breath, because you're sitting, or if you're not sitting, that's okay too, feel the pelvic floor lift. Feel all the tissues between your sit bones, between your pubic bone and tailbone. Feel that area lift off the mat. It's not going to lift off the mat. That's going to get lighter as you contract and lift. And then as you breathe in, feel that area release and soften so that you can activate everything again on your out breath. Beautiful. Good. And then take the arms at your sides. And we're just going to lift up the shoulder blades. So on your first out breath, I want you to glide those shoulder blades up your spine as if they're going to touch your ears, but you're not bringing your ears down to touch the shoulder blades at all. You're keeping your nice long neck, and then breathe in and drop them away for an even longer neck. Exhale to pick them up. And breathe in to release. Right? And as you pick up the shoulder blades, try to feel that the neck stays relaxed. You're using the muscles at the top of the shoulders, sure, and a little bit into the neck, but try to leave the front of the neck, the throat relaxed, the chest relaxed. And let's just do this 2 more times. A little glide of the shoulders up and down and up and down. Nice. Very good. And then float the arms up in front so that they're shoulder width apart. And we're going to do the right arm only. So breathing in and reaching ahead with that right arm from the shoulder blade. Not by twisting the spine at all, but just by reaching ahead. And then exhaling to draw that shoulder blade back towards your spine. Breathe in to reach ahead. And exhale to draw back. Good. Breathe in to reach ahead. Exhale to drop back. And you're just doing one at a time today because you're sort of evaluating what sort of movement you have at that shoulder. And then pause halfway between your reach forward and your draw back, and then do the left arm only. So breathe in, left arm reaches ahead, exhale, draw back. How's the head and neck alignment? Are you relaxed in the jaw, in the throat? Can you be a little, can the shoulders be a little down, a little more away from the ears? And are you really staying still through the chest, or are you getting a little bit of rotation sneaking in? And just to double check that, we'll pause here. Halfway between the reach forward and the draw back, we'll do both arms just 3 times. Breath in to reach ahead, spread those shoulder blades in the back. Exhale. Breathe in to reach ahead. Exhale to draw the shoulder blades back. The elbows don't bend. I mean, they can bend a little bit. They don't have to be locked, but they're not bending more. And perfect. Good. And from here, let's just open the arms. So whether you have the knees bent as I do, or you're in your diamond, or you're standing, I want you to open, 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 open across that chest. Reach wide. Each fingertip reaching out to the opposite sides. Exhale. Pull it all back in. The hands can touch. Breathe in. Get wide across the chest. Nice and wide, nice and wide, nice and wide. Doesn't it feel good? And again. Last one. And exhale. Perfect. And then relax the arms down, onto your shins if you're in that diamond position, or if you're not. Take a nice breath in, and we'll do a little bit of a roll down. So on your out breath, just nodding the chin. Getting that length in the back of the neck, and especially at the base of the head, trying to feel some length there. And then continue to roll forward, one bone of the back at a time. Just what's comfortable. Realizing that as you're sitting, you might not, feel as round or get as far as you do when you're standing. And restacking. But that it is still important, because you usually, sometimes we sit down and then we bend forward. We want to have that mobility. So nod the chin, roll it forward. And if you feel a pull or some discomfort, you just pause. You back off a little bit. You breathe in there. And then you restack. And it's all about one bone of the back at a time. So if you had your spine up against a wall behind you, the first thing to leave would be the back of the head. One bone of the neck at a time. You wouldn't feel that peeling away from the wall, but that's what you want to envision. And then one bone of the upper back, mid back. Maybe even get a little movement into the low back here. Breathe in at your peak. Restack it. Good. And then last time, nod the chin. Roll forward. Good. Breathe into your low rib cage, especially in the back, as you're at your peak, and then restacking. Gorgeous. Perfect. Let those legs fall into a diamond position if you aren't already there. And we'll just leave the arms as they are, because we're going to use them to help us rotate. So take a nice breath in, and I want you to rotate. You're keeping the sit bones nice and still, the pelvis nice and still, but you're rotating to the right. And once you're there, you can put the back arm on the mat. The other arm, if it can reach, can come to the knee. And you're going to use your arms to get taller first, and then see if they can help you add a little rotation. And breathe in there. And then see if you can release the arms but not lose any of your rotation. And come back to the front. And we'll do that same thing to the other side. So you have even weight over the sit bones. You get your rotation under your own power. Then you use the arms. You feel like you get taller and longer in your spine. Use the arms to help you rotate a little bit more. Not a forced twist, but just helping you to get a tiny bit more range. And then see if you can hold it while you release the arms. And then come back and unwind. We'll do one more nice one to each side. So rotate to your right. Get your rotation, get your rotation, get your rotation. Then add in some height. So press that back arm into the mat. Press that top arm into the knee if that helps. And then add a little more rotation if you can. A little more gentle twist. Breathe in there. And then see if you can hold it. Don't lose any of your rotation as you release the arms. Come back through the front and to the other side. So get your rotation first, then add some height, press into the arms to get taller, rotate a little more if it feels right. Yay. Breath in. And don't lose anything as you release the arms. Come back to the front. Close up the knees and leave the hands behind the thighs. If you're not sitting, you're going to want to sit now because we're doing a little bit of a roll back. So take a nice breath in. And on your out breath, you're lifting the pelvic floor. You're drawing in with the belly and you're rolling back, but you're leaving the shoulders over the hips and you're tucking the chin gently to get the spine into a C shape. That's what you'd like ideally. And then you're going to just pull back up to nice and tall. So exhale, leave the shoulders over top of the hips and try to feel that even though you're rounding the spine, you're also lengthening. Tuck the chin a little bit and pull back up to nice and straight. Exhale. The tummy pulls back towards the spine, the pelvic floor lifts, everything is strong so that you're comfortable here. Restacking. If you are happy and you don't need the arms behind the thighs, reach them forward. Exhale into. Get into that C shape. You can roll back a little bit, just what you can control. So that means you keep wide collarbones, you're flat in the abdominals, and then pull forward now. And restack. And it's one bone at the back at a time. We're doing 3 more, and your only goal is to support your spine with the abdominals as you roll back, as you pull forward, and then to restack and have it be one bone at the back at a time as you come back up. And we do 2 more. Exhale, round back. Maybe you start going a little deeper, but it's just what's good in your body today and what you can control. Restack. And last one. Roll it back, roll it back, roll it back. Use that front body to pull forward. Beautiful. Restack one bone at the back at a time. Lovely. If you're gonna use your ball, have it nearby, and then you can use your arms if you need to, or maybe just roll down without them, but to come down onto your back on the mat. If you have the ball, you're gonna put it right underneath the bum. If you don't have the ball, you're in your neutral pelvis and you're really focused on being there. So if you're on the ball, neutral pelvis. If you don't have the ball, neutral pelvis. Put the feet nice and close together for this one. And let's take the arms and just bend the elbows right away so you have less support. And if you really want to challenge yourself right from the beginning, you can take the arms off the mat entirely. Take a breath in. On your out breath, draw in with the belly, lift the pelvic floor. This is about your warm-up and your stabilizing, right? And then bring the right leg up to tabletop. Lower it down and switch. And just take your time for the first couple, especially if this is early in the day for you, or even if it's not. It's always nice to reconnect. So feel that before you move the leg, you feel activity in your center. You feel some strength in the abdominals. You feel the pelvic floor action. You feel the out breath helping you, right? Good. And then we're going to bring the right leg up to tabletop. And we're going to unweight the left leg. Bring it up. And we're going to sit in tabletop with both legs just for a minute while you evaluate your form. Right? The thighs should be pretty vertical. The shins should be pretty horizontal. The abdominals are strong. The pelvic floor is lifted. The low ribs are held back. The shoulders are relaxed. The smile is big, of course. Pilates, we love Pilates. Good. And then from here, tapping the right toe on your out breath. Maybe it doesn't reach all the way to the mat. That's okay. Bring it back up.
And again, make the first couple really methodical, right? Know that you have good form. Then you can start to switch in motion if it's feeling good, right? Maybe you're having an off day and you don't get to the speed, and that's okay. Maybe you can go faster. This is my speed today. It's the end of the week. Good. For the last few, if you want to change it up and flex the feet and start to reach the heel out a little further, that takes more control in the abdominals. So if you're a level 1 working on this video, keep the heel closer to you. If you're a level 2, sure, stretch it out. But make sure you have that control in the abdominals, comfort in the low back. Good breath pattern. Last one with the right heel. Last one with the left. Bring it into tabletop. Hold it there for a second. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Good form in the abdominals. Yes, good. And lower the legs one at a time. Good. Take the arms and just reach them overhead. Good. Take a nice breath. Bring that right leg up to tabletop. And we're going to do a little repeater here. So both arms going overhead as the leg straightens and lowers down with control. Both arms are reaching overhead with the elbows straight and really holding the low ribs back. And then pull it all back in. Stretch it out nice and long. Right? Yes. And pull it back in. And let's speed it up just a little bit. And in. And in. And really feeling the strength in the abdominals, especially when you're at your biggest stretch, right? That's where you have two very long levers, the arms and the legs, and the abdominals are the control point. We're going to do 2 more. You can either hold the arms overhead as we do little circles with the leg, or you can bring the hands down and monitor the pelvis. But we're going to do 4 little circles with that right leg, where the pelvis is staying still. You're breathing. The leg that's on the mat is nice and still, and the circle's small, right? Perfect. After your 4th one, reverse the other way. If the arms are overhead, the shoulders are down away from the ears. And last circle, beautiful. Bring that leg in and just hug that knee in towards the chest for a second. Good. And then release it down. That leg's going to be on the mat. Bring the left leg up to tabletop. Pelvis nice and steady. Arms reach overhead. You can always omit the arms, especially if you're more working at a level 1 here. On your exhale, straighten the leg. Let the arms go overhead. Lower what you can control. Bring it all back up. And again. And back up. And just feel the abdominals sort of hugging back towards the spine. The pelvis staying still on the ball or still on the mat. If you're on the mat, you really can feel the pressure. And if you're choosing to do the arms, and make sure the rib cage is staying nice and still. And you have the elbows straight and the neck nice and relaxed. On the next one, we'll hold it. The arms can stay overhead, or they can come down by your sides, or they can hug and hold the pelvis. 4 circles. That's not easy today. 3, good, and 4, and reverse. Really try to keep the micro movements out of the ball if you're using the ball. Really try to feel the back of your pelvis rooted to the mat if you don't have the ball. Good, and bring it in. Release it down. Very nice, good. Take a nice breath, get off of the ball. Just put it off to the side for a second. And have those have those feet sit bone width apart. Have the arms at your sides. Get those shoulder blades wide. the throat, the chest relax. Take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, allow that low spine to settle down towards the mat and peel it up. At the top, just take a nice breath in and then peel it down. Good. Exhale to peel it up. And inhale to peel it down. So just a nice breath rhythm. Exhale. Inhale down. You can always do the slower version that we started with. If you just want to hold it with the breath in at the top, peel down on your exhale. It really is just what feels good in your body today. We're just going to do 2 more, and then we're going to hold the next one up. Good. Level 1, you can leave the arms on the mat. Level 2, let's float them up towards the ceiling with the shoulder blades staying against the mat and the collarbones nice and wide. We're going to do a little repeater. So we're going to start with the right leg. Left leg stays nice and still, and the right knee is going to open out to the side. Hips stay level. Leg that's on, or left leg stays nice and still, and then bring that leg back in. Right leg only, out to the side, and back in. Right leg out to the side, and back in. Really tempting to let the left leg move as well, sort of as a counterweight. But no, you're not going to do that. You're going to do 2 more beautiful ones where you keep the pelvis up, you keep the spine in neutral. Good. Hold it here. If you don't need a break, leave the pelvis up. If you do, lower it for a second, and then start with the left knee out to the side. Bring it back in. The right leg stays still. Keep a presence, a nice presence through the whole right foot. Feel the toes relaxed. If you're flexible enough in the left hip, you'll roll to the outer border of that left foot, and that's fine. What you'd like, though, is the right side and the pelvis and the rest of the body to stay nice and still, and so left leg only that's doing any movement here. Good. How many are we doing? 2 more? Think more on this side. Last one. Perfect. Gorgeous. Take a nice breath in. Raise the hips a little higher. Peel it down. Very nice. And relax the arms at your sides. Good. We're going to use the mini ball behind your upper back or mid back. If you don't have it, then you just have the hands behind the head, as we will when we're on the ball. And as we curl off the ball, you're doing a chest lift and then adding any legs in. So that's without the ball. If you have the ball, you're finding a place where that ball is comfortable. And depending how big the ball is, this could be quite, different for you. I like to sort of put the ball right between the lower edges of the shoulder blade, my shoulder blades. Right? Then I can keep a neutral pelvis, neutral low back, and immediately you'll probably want to support the head with the hands. Good. And have the elbows wide. Really have the weight of the head in the hands, whether you're starting on the mat or you're up on the ball. Breathe in, you're down on the mat or you're melting over the ball a little bit. And on your exhale, curl it up. Breathe in to melt over the ball. And exhale to curl it up. And just while we do this rather basic exercise, I want you to say, do you feel that you activate in your deeper core before you do your lift? So do you feel the pelvic floor lift? And do you feel the deep belly draw back towards the spine? Do you feel the pelvis stay nice and still? Whether you're on the ball or whether you are just on the mat with the upper body. Okay? Good. Perfect. Holding this one up. And I want you to just feel like you get light with your feet. So you might actually lift the heels. But I want you to feel what that does in the abdominals. Lower. Release the upper body. Bring it up. Curl up with the upper body. When you're at your peak, think of lifting your legs. You're not going to really lift them, but you might lift your heels. and see what that does for your abdominals. Peel it back. We're going to do 2 more like that, where you're just really working on the connection between upper body lift and big ab work, and then adding in the legs, right? And release it down. Good. Last time, hover with the heels. Activate, activate. Good. Release the heels, curl up a little more with the upper body, and we'll bring the right leg up to tabletop and release it down. Left leg up to tabletop and release it down. This is more your level 1. If you want to do more of your level 2, then bring that second leg up to tabletop, and instead of picking each leg up, you're lowering one leg and switching. But you're still in your pelvis. You're lifted in your chest. The big abs are working, but the pelvis is staying still. Good. And now whichever version you're doing, you're going to add a little rotation of the upper body. So as the left leg is lowered and the right leg's up, I'm going to look towards the right, center everything, and switch. So this is the level 2 because I have both legs in tabletop. And I'm lowering one as I rotate, which takes more control. Your level 1 version, you're lifting the leg to tabletop and the other one's on the mat. So you can always modify. How still is that ball staying? That feel good? Yes. Let's do 3 more to each side, to the right, to the left, to the right. How relaxed are you in your neck? Could you be wider in your chest? Are the elbows wide, but not so wide you can't see them? Last one to the right. Last one to the left. Hold it here. Lower the legs one at a time. Melt back over the ball. If you don't have the ball, you're just laying out flat on the mat. If you do have the ball, you can enjoy a nice stretch over the ball if that feels right. And you can let the arms reach overhead for a nice, opening across the chest. And in that case, you can ditch the ball and just lay out flat with the arms reaching out in a T position or a cactus position or more overhead in a V, wherever you feel the best stretch and opening across the chest. You can straighten the legs if that feels right. It's good. Perfect. And then I always say as we get off the ball, the only graceful way to do it is to do a roll up. So we're going to do that. And if you don't have the ball, you're still doing the roll up. So take the arms overhead, shoulder width apart. As you breathe in, you're floating the arms up, nodding the chin. And on your exhale, you're trying to roll all the way up to sitting. If you're level 1, you might not get there. You might peel up and get stuck, in which case you hold it there and you peel it back down, right? If you can, though, on your exhale, you're lifting, 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 lifting to come all the way to reach long over the toes, to restack, and to peel it back down. After your first one, you can get rid of the ball, though, right? You don't need the ball, and you peel it down one bone of the back at a time. Arms float overhead, low ribs stay held back, so hold that solar plexus area back. Inhale, arms float up, chin nods, head lifts. Exhale to continue it on. I'm going to demonstrate a level 1 this time. So that's my max maybe. I get stuck here, but I look, I see if I have wide collarbones, an elegant neck, a little space between chin and chest. Try to lift a little bit higher. And then release it and really feel that you peel down one bone of the back at a time. And those arms go back overhead, right? You can flex the feet, you can keep the toes pointed, whatever feels good today. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, use your momentum, but not too much, to reach long over the toes and to restack. Not to restack, sorry, to peel back. That way we'll stay in equal rhythm, level 1s and level 2s. Good, we're going to try 2 more, just because this is a really nice exercise to be able to do. But it takes, you've got to have a certain level of flexibility in the spine, mobility, we say. And then, of course, strengthen the abdominals. So it'll all come together. One day you'll sit up and say, oh my goodness, it happened. Exhale, last one. And peel it back down. Gorgeous. Lovely. And then just let the head rest easy on the mat. Bring the knees in. Both together or one at a time, whatever feels good to you today. And then just do a little rock side to side. So we got some mobility in the spine and sitting. We got some good ab work laying down, a little bit of hip work. And we're going to say that feels good today. Good. So I'm going to add one exercise for the level 2s. So if you're level 1 and you want to call this good, you can get on with your day. It's going to be a little side body with weight bearing through the shoulder. So if you have any shoulder injuries, certainly you can save this for another time when the shoulder is better. And you have two options. So coming onto your side, the elbow is underneath the shoulder, the forearm is on the mat, the palms down if possible, or you could be sort of baby finger down, whatever's comfy there. And you really are trying to avoid being slouchy here, right? So you're trying to really lift that rib cage away from the mat, right? And your two options are to be with the knees bent, coming up, to be in a very short side plank, but still really hard. lots of strength required in the shoulder and organization there, as well as the abdominals and the underside body, right? So, or definitely more a level 2, even pushing a level 3, is to have the knees straight and come up into a long side plank. So we're going to try to do 4 of them, right? Your choice, whether you have the legs straight or the knees bent, or if you already sign off, we'll see you next time. Take a nice breath in. On your out breath, draw in with the belly. Have that strength already in the abdominals. Press the rib cage away from the mat. Coming up to just balance, right? To take a nice breath when you're at the top. And to lower down with control. Good. Exhale to come up. To hold it here. Take a nice breath. Reach that arm higher towards the ceiling. And release it down. Good. If you started long and it feels a little wrong now, then bend the knees. And go in the shorter version for our last 2. Reaching that arm towards the sky. Lowering down. Last one. Nice breath in. Option to add that arm reaching overhead at this point. And a little rotation to look down at the mat. Back to your side plank. Lower it down. And we'll spin around and do the other side.
It's a great way to get the whole side body working together and target a lot of muscles very quickly, but it takes a little bit of practice, eh? So try not to collapse in the ribs. Really have this nice triangle of space under the rib cage. The shoulder is open, collarbone's open. Bend the knees or have straight legs.
Take a nice breath in. On your out breath, coming to that beautiful side plank. Try to have a long neck, open shoulders, and release it down. And again, coming up. Don't hesitate to do it from bent knees. I feel it's just easier to see with straight legs. And those of you who are level 2, you might want the straight legs, right? Release it down. Exhaling to come up. Really try to feel like there's a big distance between the underside ribs and the mat. Release it down. Last one with the option of adding that arm overhead. So come up, hit your beautiful side plank position. Reach that arm overhead as an option. And even a little rotation to look down at the mat. Whoa. Back to your side plank and release it down. Gorgeous. Perfect. Come up to nice tall sitting or even standing. If you were doing the side plank, we're going to take the arms, we'll take them both overhead. And then we'll reach the left one higher, let the right one come down to the mat. Reach long and enjoy that stretch in the side body that you just worked. Switch, right arm high, left arm on the mat. Reach that right arm higher, keeping the right hip on the mat. Lovely. And release. Take a nice breath in and out. Lovely. Good. Hope that feels great. I feel pretty good. Enjoy your day, and I will see you next time. Ciao.